today. Former President Trump wrapping up that rally in Aurora this afternoon, one that is already making national headlines.
And during that rally, Trump announced his plans for deportations, calling it Operation Aurora, the center of controversy surrounding gang activity at certain apartment complexes.
Yeah, we have team coverage getting reaction to Trump's visit from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle and reaction from residents at the apartment complex that started all of this. We start with Fox 31's Matt Morrow live in Aurora with what the former president had to say. Matt.
Oh, Jeremy, he had an awful lot to say today. He spoke for about an hour and 15 minutes in front of a lot of people, 10,000 that were inside the Gaylord Resort and Convention Center here, and thousands more that were outside. And now, more than 2 hours after Donald Trump left and his plane called Trump Force One flew over this area, take a look back there. Dozens of people are still here trying to get back to their cars. Some of these people lined up at 3, 4, 5 o'clock this morning to get inside and to hear Donald Trump speak. He took the stage about 1:45, and it was a very Colorado-centric speech that he made. He reiterated that false narrative that Aurora has been taken over by violent migrant gangs, one that has been disputed by Aurora's Republican Mayor Mike Coffman. Instead, that it was saying it was more of an isolated issue. More on that coming up in the next few minutes. He had a lot of heavy criticism for Governor Jared Polis and Vice President Kamala Harris. He got his biggest round of applause and cheering when he talked about his slogan of "Make America Great Again" and making Colorado safe again. He repeated the concept he has time and time again on the campaign trail, that Donald Trump can fix the issues and solve the problems, and he can do it on day one if he is reelected and inaugurated. And he also talked about how he would get violent people who are in this country illegally out. Listen.
We will send elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left in this country. And if they come back into our country, they will be told it is an automatic 10-year sentence in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
You could hear the applause and the cheering from the crowd right there, but what Donald Trump did not talk about is how exactly he would get that done, as most of those plans, if they were to come to fruition, would have to get the approval of Congress. Needless to say, the people who were here, a lot of Donald Trump supporters and Republican supporters, were very thrilled to hear it. Jeremy, Talia.
Wow, they've never gotten to see it before. He hasn't stopped here, of course, in 4 years. Matt, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and continuing coverage right now, the Republican mayor of Aurora, Mike Coffman, who did not attend Trump's rally today, just put out a statement a few minutes ago. He said, in part, quote, "There were thousands of people who attended the rally today, some of whom might have visited Aurora for the first time, who were able to see firsthand the mischaracterization of our great community." He went on to say, "I am disappointed that the former president did not get to experience more of the city for himself. The reality is that the concerns about Venezuelan gang activity in our city and our state have been grossly exaggerated and have unfairly hurt the city's identity and sense of safety."